Hi, today we're going to focus on using the strategy of standard algorithm to divide a whole number by a decimal. Before we start that strategy, I want to review how we can multiply by powers of 10. So if we have 65 hundredths and I want to multiply that by 10, then I would move each of my digits one place value to the left because we know that the value is going to increase since we're multiplying by 10. Or I could also shortcut shift my decimal one place to the right, and that in essence does the same thing. So 65 hundredths times 10 is equal to 6 5/10. However, when we're dividing by a decimal, we always want to divide by a whole number. So if I had 65 hundredths, I would want to make this into a whole number, which means I could multiply by 2 powers of 10, or 100. So I can use the same technique. I could shortcut shift my digits 2 places to the left, or I could shortcut shift my decimal 2 places to the right. So 65 hundredths times 100 is equal to 65. So that's going to be important as we're using our standard algorithm today. So let's use one of our same equations from our previous strategy. So we're going to start out with 3 divided by 6/10. So for standard algorithm, I'm going to set it up as the standard algorithm. So 3 is my dividend, so it goes here, and 6/10 is my divisor, which is what I'm dividing by, so it goes here. When you're dividing, you always have to divide by a whole number. So I need to take 6/10 and I need to make it into a whole number, and the way that I do that is by multiplying by powers of 10. Since I only have one place value here, then I only need to multiply by 1 power of 10, or 10. So I can shortcut shift my decimal 1 place value to the right. So now 6/10 becomes 6. Whatever I do to my divisor, I also have to do to my dividend. So in this number, my decimal is here. So I would shortcut shift my decimal 1 place value to the right, just as I did in my divisor. So now instead of 3 divided by 6/10, I have 30 divided by 6. And then I can use what I know about division. So 30 divided by 6 is 5, and then I can multiply to finish out my problem. So 3 divided by 6/10 is equal to 5. Let's take a look at one more problem using the standard algorithm. Again, the same problem that we did yesterday with base 10 grids, 2 divided by 25 hundredths. So I'm going to set up my division problem. Again, this is my dividend and this is my divisor. So this time I have 25 hundredths, which again we need to make into a whole number, and I can do that by multiplying by a power of 10. Here I have 2 place values, which means I need to multiply it by 100. So I can shortcut shift my decimal 2 place values. So when I multiply 25 hundredths times 100, that will now give me 25. And remember, whatever I do to my divisor, I must also do to my dividend. So in 2, my decimal is here. And so again, I'm going to shortcut shift it 2 place values to the right, and those will now have zeros. So my new problem becomes 200 divided by 25. So I increased both of my original numbers by 100 times. So I can then start using what I know about division and the standard algorithm. So here I have 2 hundreds. I can't get any groups of 25 out of just 2 hundreds. Here I move over and I have 20 tens. Again, I can't get any groups of 25 out of 20 tens. So I don't have anything there. So here I can do 200 divided by 25. So I want to use a number that I know is easy to multiply 25 by. So for me that is 4. And I know 4 times 25 is 100. And I can subtract, and that leaves me 100 left over. So I need to divide again, And so I know that I can get 4 groups of 25 out of this 100. So I'm going to stack it up here again. 4 times 25 is 100. And that will leave me 0. So I add my partial quotients together. So 4 plus 4 is 8. So 2 divided by 25 hundredths is 8. So this is 2 examples of how you can use the standard algorithm to divide a whole number by a decimal. And again, remember, the divisor, the number you're dividing by, always has to be a whole number, and we use powers of 10 to then increase that value.